without you.
Amen. Glory to God.
I'm lost. You know, it didn't include your neighbor or your grandma and all of those people that you cling to. It says, I'm lost without you.
Yes.
We have to take it personal. We have to put ourselves in that personal relationship position. But say, I am lost without you. Not we, because you have to stand before him on your own. And when you realize that you are lost without him, then it should bring on that desperation that he talked about. He says, I'm desperate for you. Because you understand that you are lost without him, you should therefore be desperate for him.
Amen.
Amen.
Because he is the air you breathe.
Yes, it is.
And some of us have had goldfish as pets when we were young. And you know what happens when your goldfish got out of the bowl? He flopped, or he was desperate to get back in the water.
Yeah.
And if you ever seen anybody with asthma, you know that they become desperate when it becomes hard for them to breathe. So he is the air that we breathe. We should be desperate for him when we think of being without him. And this, my friend, this is my daily bread.
Amen.
This is my daily bread.
Amen. Glory to God.
I can make it without Laura Lee or Wonder Bread.
Amen.
This is my daily bread.
Yes, amen.
Without this, then I am lost.
Yes, sir.
And once I realize I'm lost, I become desperate. I get caught up in the music sometimes. But he is our daily bread. The Word of God nourishes our spirit, that keeps that hope alive.
Yes, Lord.
Keep hope alive.
Yes, Father. Yes.
I'm desperate for him because he is the air I breathe. He is the air I breathe. Praise God. We have just come off of a holiday, Thanksgiving, and we're still in the holiday season. We're in the holiday season. Shouldn't say we just come off. This is it. We're in the holiday season. And these particular holidays that we're in now, I don't know if you noticed, but these are the holidays where family becomes the most important part of the holiday, because people reach out for their families from coast to coast on Thanksgiving and Christmas. We just want to be with family.
Glory to God.
Family is very important also, because we need that connection. We need that relationship.
Amen.
We need to know that somebody cares for us. You see. But sometimes we get caught up in the family thing and we lose sight of the truth. Reality, ladies and gentlemen, is that we are family. We are family. And we reach out to our families. And we want to be with our families. We travel from, again, East Coast to the West Coast and vice versa, just to be with family on these days. And sometimes we put so much reliability on our families till we again lose sight of the truth. And the truth is that we are families. Wherever you are, you should find family. You should find family. And I tell you, it gets dangerous. It gets dangerous when we begin to look upon our family and we begin to say, blood is thicker than water. Well, orange juice is thicker than water.
Amen. Come on.
Tomato juice is thicker than water.
That's right.
But when we say blood is thicker than water, then we should look at our circumstances, see. Because you only say that when one of your loved ones or one of your family members is doing something that you disapprove of.
Come on.
They're doing something that you disapprove of. So you say blood is thicker than water to justify your sticking with that wrongdoing. I'm telling you, family causes us to stumble a lot of times.
Amen.
More than anything else in our walk with Christ, it is family that causes us to stumble. And sometimes they drag us down to the point where we fall.
Yes.
And we should understand that because in 2 Timothy chapter 3, Paul tells Timothy that these times are coming. Perilous times are coming. These are dangerous times. These are dangerous times. And we have to understand that when that family member is tugging on us or causing us to stumble, it is not the person. It is the powers and principalities. For that is the enemy. That is what's bringing it out. It's not the person. It is the enemy. But it calls for separation. It calls for separation. Sometimes you have to let go. Sometimes you just have to let go. Perilous times. These are dangerous times. And in that danger, you stand to lose. In the book of Luke, chapter 12, and we'll look at verse 51 in chapter 12, verse 51. It says, "You suppose that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you, nay, but rather division." Jesus is speaking. The words in red, it tells us that Jesus is speaking. And we know that Jesus is the Prince of Peace. And here he says that you thought I come to bring peace on earth. But no, no, no. I come to bring division. And that causes us to wonder, what are you talking about, Jesus? We've counted on you for that peace. You said that you gave us peace. You left us with peace. But watch as he continues. He says, from now on, there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother.
That's right.
The mother-in-law against the daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against the mother. And we get confused at that point. But you see, Jesus is saying that when I finish my work on earth, there will be a line drawn in the sand. There will be a line drawn in the sand. And you have to choose which side of that line you want to be on. And in a house, there will be 3 people that choose him and 2 who won't. And in some houses, 3 will choose him and 2 won't. But there is the division. There is the division. There will be a father who chooses Christ and a son who refuses Christ. That is the division he's talking about. You have to make that separation. It is painful. And sometimes it is simply unbearable. Therefore, we fall. And we say, blood is thicker than water. So I got to stick with my son. But if you choose your son above Jesus, then you cross the line. He has warned us that there would come a time, and this is that time, because this is dangerous times. This is the last days. And that's what he said. In the last days, there will be dangerous times. And in those dangerous times, there will be separation. And there will be people trying to take your life. And they will think that they're doing something good while they're doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus has warned us about these times. These are those perilous times. And that division has come. Jesus has come and died for the world. Those who receive him, his name will be written in the Lamb's book of life.
Yes.
That is your birth certificate. When you were born again, you didn't get a certificate like you did when you were born the first time.
That's right.
They put your little footprint on the page and wrote you that. Your name was written in the book of life.
Yes, thank you, Lord. Yes.
And those who refuse him, their name is not written in the book. I'm talking about this time it says, this time of year, there is more suicides than any other time of the year. It is that loneliness here. There is a mechanism in us that tells us that we need each other. Mm-hmm. We need people. But Jesus has made a way for that. In Matthew chapter 12 and 46, it says that while Jesus was preaching, that his mother and his brothers came to talk to him. In 12:46, Matthew, while he yet talked to the people, behold, his mother and his brothers stood outside, desiring to speak with him. Then one said unto him, look, your mother and your brothers stand outside, desiring to speak with you. But he answered and said unto him that told him, who is my mother, and who are my brothers? And he stretched forth his hands towards the disciples and said, behold, my mother and my brothers. For whosoever shall do the will of my Father which is in heaven, the same is my brother and my sister and my mother. Jesus is preaching, and as it was with Jesus, there was always a multitude around him, and it says that you couldn't just come in and talk or come in and sit down. They didn't have the problem that we have, a lot of space. There was a crowd, and you couldn't get to him, so the mother and the brothers had to send word through the crowd to get up to where Jesus was. And when the man told him, says, your mothers and your brothers are outside and they want to speak to you, Jesus responded, who are my mother and my brothers? Who are they? Now I'm sure that if his mother had heard that, that would have tugged at her heart. Who? He's forgotten his mother. You see, his mother was there for a specific purpose. His mother was there to rein him in. See, the word was out that Jesus had become controversial. He's talking too much. And the religious leaders don't like it. And if you don't stop him, somebody's going to kill that boy. You better talk to him. So Mary gathered the rest of her children, and they went on the road to find Jesus. And when they found him, she wanted to talk to him and tell him, son, come home. People are saying crazy stuff about you, that you are beside yourself, which means crazy. So give it a rest for a while. But you see, when they came and told Jesus that his mother and his brothers was out to see him, he's Jesus. He knew that. But he didn't say, don't you know who I am? I'm Jesus. I know everything. He made it a teachable moment. He said, who are my mother and my brothers? And then he stretched forth his hands and said, these are my mother and my brothers. Whosoever hear the word of God and do it. Hearing it ain't good enough. Knowing it ain't good enough. He said, and do it. Those are my brother, my sister, and my mother. My family are those who do the will of my Father. Remember what he said in the end? That the house would be divided. He is telling us that spiritual relationship, that divine relationship, is greater than a biological relationship. That's what he's trying to express here. He says, who are my mother and my brothers? Those that do the will of my Father. That's my mother and my brothers. So Mary and the kids being out there, I'm sure they could hear it. But the people had to also think that he's slipping. He don't know who his mother and his brothers are. He's slipping. He's really crazy. They say he's all out of his head. He is. But Jesus, again, never missed a moment to teach.
Amen.
And it says that he said, who are my mothers and brothers? And these are my brothers. The people who hear the word of God and do it. Those are my mother and my brother. Thank God that you see, you will always have a family. You will never ever be without a family. In one house, there will be 5 people, 3 against 2 or 2 against 3. You will always have a family, but it depends on which family it is that you choose. Is it the divine family or is it the family that you choose? This is what he said. We will always have a family. Paul wrote to the Romans. Paul wrote to the Romans and said in 8:16, he says, the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, bear witness with our little spirit that we are the children of God.
Yes.
You see, this is how we end up with a father. Our spirit bear witness with the Spirit that we are the children of God. If we choose properly, then we will have that divine family. The one that Jesus is talking about. Whoever do the will of my Father who is in heaven. Those are my brother, my sister, and my mother. You see, every woman that gives birth to a child is not necessarily a mother. Every man that fathers a child through a woman is not necessarily a father. They have gone through the process, they have followed the procedure, so the outcome is the same, but where's the heart? Where's the heart? This is what Jesus is telling us about. Family who sticks together. Family who have a relationship. Family who is cohesive. A family that you will never ever lose or be without. Thank God for the family of God.
Amen.
God has welcomed us into his family. So you see, when we have to separate from our earthly family, then we're still not alone. We have a divine family. But if we can hold on to both of them, just think of how blessed we are when we have an earthly family that is all connected to the divine family.
Amen. Glory to God.
And thus he told us to take that word throughout the world so that everybody would have an opportunity.
Amen. Glory to God.
So you see, he has placed that mechanism in us, in our spirit, that we need one another.
Thank you, Lord.
We need one another. No man is an island. But we have to choose. We have to choose. And this morning, I got an idea, and bear with me on this one, but I would just ask that if everybody or anybody, if you don't want to say anything, just pass it on to the next. But I would like for everybody this morning to tell us, what are you thankful for? We're in that season now of Thanksgiving. And in my circle, you don't get your turkey dinner unless you say what you're thankful for. Everybody has to say. So here we are in a family setting. What are we thankful for? What are we thankful for? Let's just, if you don't mind, and again, I don't want to put anybody on the spot. If you're bashful, shy, and don't want to talk,
I do.
just say what you're thankful for.
I gotta stand.
And in that way,
I don't need a microphone.
yes you do. This is not just for you.
Oh, okay. I'm excited.
But I'm going to start over here and go across and back and up. And you have to talk directly into the front of it like that. Because when you talk it to the side, you'll miss it. So talk it to the front.
The people in my life. Yeah. Everything.
For the wonderful family that I have, the spiritual family, and also the biological family.
I think I was gonna say the same thing Sister Ruth said.
Thankful for all the children in your life, and thankful for you too.
Thank you.
I'm thankful for the people that I knew at the church, my church family, and also my other family.
For all the family gatherings that we have every year, because a lot of people don't have that, and I'm thankful for that.
Well, I'm thankful for my church and, my pastor and his wife.
I'm thankful for my church, our church family, and pastor and his wife, and all my lovely member friends, my church family.
I'm thankful for my family, my church family too, and for my health.
There's so many miracles I am thankful for. I can't name them all. I'm very grateful. Amen. Jesus.
I'm thankful for salvation. I'm thankful for the day, every day I see another day. I'm thankful for the people God puts in my life. I'm thankful for my children. Everything's a blessing.
Amen. Amen.
I'm thankful for this place and the things that have happened to me since I've been here. I'm thankful so much for God's forgiveness and salvation, and I am so thankful that He has continued to provide and bless me in every way possible.
Praise God.
Praise God.
I'm thankful for everyone's happiness.
Amen. Praise God.
Oh, I am so thankful to God for His love, His kindness, and mercy, for our salvation, for all that He has done for me and my family. I'm so thankful to be here with all of you, and I'm so thankful for my family.
Amen.
I'm so thankful for this moment that I'm aware of all of the things that I am thankful for.
Praise God.
Amen. Praise God.
Well,
I'm thankful for seeing all the goodness and everything around me.
I'm thankful that Jesus died on the cross for all of us, for the whole world, and I'm thankful for that. If I wouldn't be here, I have salvation. And I'm blessed with all my brothers and my sisters, because you are my brothers and my sisters.
Amen.
I'm thankful for Jesus dying on the cross. And 3 years ago I found him, and I'm very thankful for that.
Praise
Thankful that
God.
the church is really a great church. Thank you.
Praise God.
I'm thankful for the Lord's mercy, grace, forgiveness, for my fellowship in the church, and the wonderful husband that God has blessed me with. Thank you for all of that.
Thank you, Lord.
I'm thankful for the prayer warriors, and I'm thankful for our healing classes, and I'm such a believer in prayer healing.
Thank you,
And I'm
thank you,
grateful.
God.
Praise
And I
God.
know we have more coming.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
Lord.
Praise God. Praise God. Glory to God.
Beautiful, beautiful.
What are you
And
thankful
which-
for, Pastor?
Thank you,
Oh.
Lord.
What is Pastor Bill thankful?
I am thankful for being here. I'm thankful for you guys allowing me to stand before you every Sunday and share the word that I diligently seek through the week.
Thank you.
It enhances my relationship with Christ every time I read it, and then once I read it, I get to expound upon it. It just causes me to grow more and more. And I think I've said before that I feel as if I have betrayed my trust when I am not growing.
Yes.
Because that's what I want you guys to do. So I'm thankful that you guys are growing. I'm thankful that we have the word to guide us and to lead us. So, and as somebody said, I'm so thankful for so many things. We want to get out of here pretty soon, so don't make me tell you all. But there's just so much to be thankful for every day. Every day, there's just so much to be thankful for. And if we would make what we've just done a part of our daily activity, then we would continue to grow stronger and stronger in our relationship with Christ. Because I think as we did our Thanksgiving service, sometimes we miss a gift because we didn't say thank you for the last gift we got. So we should, again, put this in our daily activity and just try to remember once a day to say thank you, because we don't need a day set aside for Thanksgiving. As Christians, every day of our life is a Thanksgiving day. And so when we give thanks and when we pray and when we just talk to God, it is recognizing and acknowledging His presence in our lives. So let us dwell on being friends with God. Because we are His family. You see, when we were young and we went out and played, we'd run back in the house. We didn't have to knock on the door to come back in the house. It was our house. You run to the refrigerator. You didn't have to ask if you could. You just open the door. The back, everything. This is our relationship with God. He is our Father. So everything that He has belongs to us. So soon as you open that door and break into here, you home. This is your house. This is your house. If this is God's house, then it's your house because you're His child. And that is the relationship and the mentality that we should operate in. And we should be eager to come to the house of God, because this is home. So you just come in here and put your feet up on the chair, and if anybody say anything, hey, I'm at home. I'm at home. This is what I do in my house. That's where you are. This is God's house, so this is your house. And this is the attitude that you will develop when you acknowledge Him and thank Him every day. You will get that familiarity, and you will just, act like the prince and princesses that you are. That is His desire, and that's your desire. So everything walks together. That song was saying, I tell you, I get caught up in the music. It says, just a closer walk with Thee. Just a closer walk with Thee. Granted, Jesus, is my plea. Well, He'd already granted it. He's the one that said, come to me, all of you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. You see, so you want the same thing He wants, but you just haven't put it together sometimes. So you just put it together. That's what He wants. That's what you want. So it ought to work perfect. Amen. So